Hi everyone and welcome to Jab and Move with your host Stephen, and today we're going to be talking about two big things, which would be the confirmation of the Whyte versus Itauma fight and also looking at Kambosos versus Hitchins just a few days ago now. I want to just go through that and what my thoughts were and where potentially Kambosos is going to go now after what was really a comprehensive defeat to Richardson Hitchins. So let's get straight into it, guys. Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. This is an interesting fight. I like this fight. I reckon it very much to sort of the Ben Eubank fight and something where we actually don't know what we're going to see. We're getting more and more fights like this at the moment, and that's something I'm liking from the boxing world. We never used to have this. There was a lot of sure things. There was a lot of, quite simple fights for a lot of fighters. This now is becoming a world where there's extremely difficult fights for everyone at all levels, and I'm really liking this. So with Moses Itauma, he is the young star. Let's be honest, he's been compared to Mike Tyson in terms of age and what he can do, and he's extremely big, he's extremely fast, and there is no reason why he can't absolutely dismantle Dillian Whyte in this fight and go on and obviously win a world title within the next, I'd say, 18 months, given obviously the landscape probably a bit quicker if it weren't the fact of the undisputed and stuff that's going on. But with Dillian Whyte, I really like Dillian Whyte, and I always have, and I always think he's come through so much adversity, and the one thing with boxers is that they come through a lot of adversity, and he's one of them. I know, obviously growing up and stuff, it wasn't the easiest of childhoods, and he's come through it, and he became at one point in sort of 2019, 2020, an absolute beast and an unbelievable fighter, and someone who was destined for a world title, obviously fighting Fury, and after that had all sort of come to an absolute dramatic stop. And then we had the potential Joshua Dillian Whyte fight too, and the drug controversy behind that obviously being cleared and stuff now and moved on, which is good news. But he's had a couple of them as well over his period, which I think has absolutely smashed him in terms of mental health and how the effect that's happened on him as well, which is a shame really. But looking into it, I think he is a really good fighter, and he has been an exceptionally good fighter at the absolute top level of fighting. So what we're going to see from him, are we going to see a Dillian Whyte who was that level and that kind of guy, or are we going to see someone who has unfortunately fallen away? I'm not too sure, and that's why I like this fight so much, because there are so many unknowns. Dillian Whyte could come back and be a Dillian Whyte close to of old. Now, if that's the case, Moses Itauma's really going to struggle, and it's going to become a completely different fight. I think, if I'm honest, my early prediction would be that Itauma's going to come through this, and this would be his first real big professional test, and one that he absolutely shines through. He has had some unbelievably tough journeymen who have crossed the way, but Dillian Whyte's a different proposition, and a Dillian Whyte getting back to his best, that is an exceptionally different proposition. So for me personally, I'm really looking forward to this. I like the undercard as well. And it's Josh Ball on there and Kakache. It's a really good card, it's a really good fight, and I am excited for that in August. So let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you reckon? Is Dillian Whyte now flush and done? Is he going to come back and actually prove that redemption is on the cards for him? Or is Moses Itauma just going to win or run through him and go on to be the next big superstar of the heavyweight division? So let's get into it quickly. I want to sort of cover it as well, because I like the fighter Kambosos. Hitchins versus Kambosos in New York on Sunday. Absolutely devastated for him. I didn't really think he would win. I also didn't think he'd get beaten so comprehensively by Richardson Hitchins. But again, he's stepping up in weight. So he won the lightweight world championship only a few years ago. Since then, he's had some 4 and 5. I think it's 4 and 6 now. Defeat, but who he's lost to, a different gravy. Like, he lost to Devin Haney twice, he lost to Lomachenko after that, so he's not losing to poor fighters, he's losing to very elite fighters. Is he an elite fighter himself for Kambosos? No, but I always reckon him sort of the everyman's kind of fighter. He absolutely puts his heart on his sleeve and wears it every time he goes into a fight, and I've always watched his fights, obviously especially down under. They've always been the morning fights here in the UK, and I've always been up to watch them and stuff, because I just think he's a really entertaining fighter and I like his style. Where does he go now? I think the problem is, I don't know if he'll ever win the world title, because at lightweight there is an awful lot of fighters and contenders that I don't know, and people stepping up into that. I don't know if he's going to be able to beat to win a world title. but you can still have some phenomenal fights and some phenomenal times there. Super lightweight, I don't think that's for him. We've seen that against Hitchins. It's not going to be for him. It's not workable. I think you're seeing that he was quite sluggish. He wasn't able to react as quick as he probably would do at lightweight. So I think for me personally, super lightweight is not the way to go. He needs to come back down to lightweight and just really focus on trying to be a world champion again there and fighting the best of the best. Now, if he does be another world champion, it will be a great achievement because, like I said, I think in that division, even before he won a world title, I think people were very surprised that he went and did it. You know, you're talking, you know, Team Lopez, Devin Haney, Lomachenko. These are names of people who, for me personally, as a status fighter, they're up there and above Kambosos. So to win a world title is exceptionally good and an absolute hell of an achievement. So for me personally, I think very much he needs to go back there and challenge for a world title, keep fighting. And he might win one, we don't know, but I don't know if he will anymore, and it's an absolute shame. In terms of Richardson Hitchins, that was a phenomenal performance, and I think people in the boxing will know how good he was, but he has definitely announced himself on the stage to the sort of everyday casual fan, and I'm looking forward to see where he goes with this now. Like I said, there's a lot of good fighters in that division, and it'll be interesting to see what comes up next for him. But for me personally, my main focus on this one was just Kambosos because I really like him. I like his style. I like the type of person that he is in the ring, and I just was gutted when he couldn't pull it off and win that title and beat Hitchison. But let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you reckon? Where does Kambosos go now? What do you reckon to Richardson Hitchins? Was he impressing you as well? And Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. What are our predictions? And where is this young kid going to go? And are we going to see a Dillian Whyte of 2019-20? Let me know in the comments, guys. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Have a lovely day. Bye.